Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is my second video where I read English texts and I'm choosing this book and I will continue this book also. Um, and I want to switch from the British accent because I think it's too hard when I try to pronounce the I forgot what Mr. Dewey said about it, and it was the PTK, and I am not really good at it, and I'm just gonna use I don't know, the transfusion or the fusion accents. Sometimes I use American, sometimes I use British, and those accents just slipped from my mouth, and people sometimes react with the way, oh, you are so British, brother, and something. I don't know, it just on slipped out of my mouth. Sorry, and yeah, I will continue the reading. Okay, uh, the second subchapter of this subtle faculty, the endangered human moment. The little girl's head came only up to her mother's waist as she hugged her mom and held on fiercely as they rode a ferry to a vacation island. The mother, though, didn't respond to her or even seem to notice. She was absorbed in her iPad all the while. There was a reprise a few minutes later as I was getting into a shared taxi van with nine sorority sisters who that night were journeying to a weekend getaway. Within a minute of taking their seats in the dark van, dim lights flicked on as every one of the sisters checked an iPhone or tablet. Desultory conversations sputtered along while they texted or scrolled through Facebook, but uh, mostly there was silence. The indifference of that mother and the silence among the sisters are symptoms of how technology captures our attention and disrupts our connections. In 2006, the word puzzled entered our lexicon, a combination of puzzled and pissed. It captured the feeling people had when the person they were with whipped out a Blackberry and started talking to someone else. Back then, people felt hurt and indignant in such moments. Today, yeah, it's the norm. Teens, the vanguard of our future, are the epicenter of this thing. In the early years of this decade, their monthly text message count soared to 3,417, double the number just a few years earlier. Meanwhile, their time on the phone dropped. The average American teen gets and sends more than 100 texts a day, about 10 every waking hour. I've seen a kid texting while he rode his bike. A friend reports, I visited some cousins in New Jersey recently, and their kids had every electronic gadget known to man. All I ever saw, all I ever saw were the tops of their heads. They were constantly checking their iPhones for who had texted them, what had updated on Facebook, or they were lost in some video game. They are totally unaware of what's happening around them and clueless about how to interact with someone for any length of time. Today's children are growing up in a new reality, one where they are attuning more to machines and less to people than has ever been true in human history. That's troubling for several reasons. One, the social and emotional circuitry of a child's brain learns from contact and conversation with everyone it encounters over the course of a day. These interactions mold brain circuitry. The fewer hours spent with people and the more spent staring at a I don't know, let me repeat that sentences. Uh, these interactions mold brain circuitry. The fewer hours spent with people and the more spent staring at a digitized screen portends deficits. What does that mean? Portends deficits. Okay, I'm going to search that after this. Digital engagement comes at a cost in FaceTime with real people, the medium where we learn to read nonverbals. The new crop of natives in this digital world may be adroit at the back at the keyboard, but they can be all thumbs when it comes to reading behavior face to face, in real time, particularly in sensing the dismay of others when they stop to read a text in the middle of talking with them. A college student observes the loneliness and isolation that go along with living in a virtual world of tweets, status updates, and posting pictures of my dinner. He notes that his classmates are losing their ability for conversation, let alone the soul searching discussions that can enrich the college years. And he says no birthday, concert, hangout session, or party can be enjoyed without taking the time to distance yourself from what you are doing. To make sure that those in your digital world, no, let me repeat that again, sir. Okay. He notes that his classmates are losing their ability for conversation, let alone the soul searching discussions that can enrich the college years. And he says no birthday, concert, hangout session, or party can be enjoyed without taking the time to distance yourself from what you are doing. To make sure that those in your digital world know instantly how much fun you are having. Then there are the basics of attention, the cognitive muscle that lets us follow a story, see a task through the end, learn or create. In some ways, as we'll see, the endless hours young people spend staring at electronic gadgets may help them acquire specific cognitive skills. But there are concerns and questions about how those same hours may lead to deficits in core mental skills. An eighth grade teacher tells me that for many years she had, um, no, let me repeat that again. An eighth grade teacher tells me that for many years she has had successive classes of students read the same book, Edith Hamilton's Mythology. Her students have loved it until 5 years or so ago. She said, I started to see kids not so excited. Even high achieving groups could not get engaged with it, she told me. They say the reading is too hard, the sentences are too complicated, it takes a long time to read a page. She wonders if perhaps her students' ability to read has been somehow compromised by the short, choppy messages they get in texts. One student confessed uh, one student confessed he'd spent 2,000 hours in the last year playing video games. Wow. She adds, it is hard to teach comma rules when you are competing with World of Warcraft. Whoa, let me repeat it again. It's kind of fun. She adds, it's hard to teach comma rules when you are competing with World of Warcraft. Huh? World of oh wait, yes, I know this game, yeah. World of Warcraft. At the extremes, Taiwan, Korea, and other Asian countries see internet addiction to gaming, social media, virtual realities among youth as a national health crisis, isolating the young. Around 8 Around 8% of American gamers between ages 8 and 18 seem to meet psychiatry's diagnostic criteria for addiction. Brain studies reveal changes in their neural reward system uh, while they game that are taking that are akin oh while they game that are akin to those found in alcoholics and drug abusers. Let me repeat those sentences again. Around 8% of American gamers between ages 8 and 18 seem to meet psychiatry's diagnostic criteria for addiction. Brain studies reveal changes in their neural reward system while they game that are akin to those found in alcoholics and drug abusers. Occasional horror stories tell of addicted gamers who sleep all day and game all night, rarely stop to eat or clean themselves, and even get violent when family members try to stop them. Rapid demands joint attention, mutual focus, actually. Our need to make an effort to have such human moments has never been greater, given the ocean of distractions we all navigate daily. Now is the third subchapter of the subtle faculty, the impoverishment, the impoverishment of attention. Then there are the costs of attention declining. Oh yeah. Then there are the costs of attention decline among adults. In Mexico, an a- in Mexico, an advertising rep for a large radio network complains a few years ago you could make a 5-minute video for your presentation at an ad agency. Today, you have to keep it to a minute and a half. If you don't grab them by then, everyone starts checking for messages. See how fast we growing up? Let me continue. Sorry for OOT, out of topic. A college professor who teaches film tells me he's reading a biography. No, no, no. A college professor who teaches film tells me he's reading a biography of one of his heroes, the legendary French director Francois Truffaut. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It says Francois Truffaut, Francois, Francois Truffaut. I don't know. But he finds I can't read more than 2 pages at a stretch. Let me repeat that again. But he finds I can't read more than 2 pages at a stretch. I get this overwhelming urge to go online and see if I have a new email. I think I'm losing my ability to sustain concentration on anything serious. Wow. The inability to resist checking email or Facebook rather than focus on the person talking to us leads to what the socio the sociologist Irving Goffman, let me repeat that again. The inability to resist checking email or Facebook rather than focus on the person talking to us leads to what the sociologist Irving Goffman, a masterly observer of social interaction, called an away, a gesture that tells another person, I am not interested in what's going on here and now. At the third All Things Digital conference back in 2005, conference host unplugged the Wi-Fi in the main ballroom because of the glow from laptop screens, indicating that those in the audience were not glued to the action on stage. They were away instead, as one participant put it, of continuous partial attention. Let me repeat that again. They were away instead, as one participant put it, of continuous partial attention, a mental blurriness induced by an overload of information inputs from the speakers, the other people in the room, and what they were doing on their laptops. To battle such partial focus today, some Silicon Valley workplaces have banned laptops, mobile phones, and other digital tools during meetings. After not checking her mobile for a while, a publishing executive confesses she gets a jangly feeling. You miss that hit You miss that hit you get when there's a text. You know it's not right to check your phone when you're with someone, but it is addictive, she said. So she and her husband have a pact. When we get home from work, we put our phones in a drawer. If it's in front of me, I get anxious. I've just got to check it. But now we try to be more present for each other. We talk. Wow. Shout out to this lady's husband. Good, good, good. Let me continue. Our focus continually fights distractions, both inner and outer. The question is, what are our distractions costing us? An executive at a financial firm tells me when I notice that my mind has been somewhere else during a meeting, I wonder what opportunities I've been missing right there. Wow. Oh, right here. Let me repeat that again. When I notice that my mind has been somewhere else during a meeting, I wonder what opportunities I've been missing right here. Wow, that is deep. Patients are telling a physician I know that they are self medicating with drugs for attention deficit disorder or narcolepsy. No. Let me repeat that again. My my voice just sounds off. Uh, Patients are telling a physician I know that they are self-medicating with drugs for attention deficit disorder. No. Patients are telling a physician I know that they are self-medicating with drugs for attention deficit disorder or narcolepsy to keep up with their work. A lawyer tells him, if I didn't take this, I couldn't read contracts. Once patients needed a diagnosis for such prescriptions, now for many those medications have become routine. Oh, no. Once patients needed a diagnosis for I don't know. Once patients needed a diagnosis for such prescriptions, now for many those medications have become routine performance enhancers. Growing numbers of teenagers are faking symptoms of attention deficit to get prescription for stimulants, a chemical route to attentiveness. And Tony Schwartz, a I don't Schwartz, I don't know, and Tony Schwartz, a consultant who coaches leaders on how to best manage their energy, tells me we get people to become more aware of how they use attention, which is always poorly. Attention is how the number of no. Attention is now the number one issue on the minds of our clients. The onslaught of incoming data leads to sloppy shortcuts like triaging email by heading, skipping much of voicemails, skimming messages and memos. It is not just that we've developed uh, it is not just that we've developed habits of attention that makes us less effective, but that the weight of messages leaves us too little time simply to reflect on what they really mean. All of these, all of this, all of this was foreseen way back in 1977 by the Nobel-winning economist Herbert Simon. Writing about the coming information-rich world, he warned that what information consumes is the attention of its recipients. Hence, a wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. I think that's all. And this is the end of the third subchapter. And we are continuing to the part one, the anatomy of attention. Oh, nah. No. We are continuing to the second chapter, which is the anatomy of attention. Yep, and I will begin at maybe Tonight, I don't know. I was. Oh no, no, it's not. Oh, it's already midnight. I'm taking this. I'm not seeing the clock because sir, before I taking videos, I practice. I love to do those things because I just looking for in the first semester or the first year of college in English language education. I searching for a lecture like this. We have to read a lot of English texts so we could be like usual with texts, especially English texts, because I see a lot of my friends are struggling with saying or not saying, pronouncing words in English because like you've told, their tongue is not that much like the Japanese because the Japanese is like totolan totol karut. They have the I don't know. It's not correct. How to say it? Like it's not missing a thing. It's not like because I coming from Borneo and I'm also using a Borneo batik. Um, in Borneo, back in my hometown, my parents actually Japanese, so I get those Japanese accent also. In back in Borneo or Kalimantan, those people are too hard to say. I don't know. I can't get the whole meaning out of my mouth because I'm still processing on how to translate my mind through the I don't know the body that God created, and I don't know. Maybe I just gonna end the video, and considering the duration is too long, 21 minutes. Wow. I think it's enough for today, and see you on the third video. And yeah, totolan totol karut. I like that one. Yeah, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.